Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Yeah, when Bo got there, man, just to be honest, man, the whole compound changed. He changed the whole atmosphere of the compound because he just had that type of aura about him. And like I say, he was ultra dangerous. And Bo can fight and fight good. And he was strong as a bull. And Bo would put that knife in you till you ain't breathing no more. So when you know you got somebody like that to deal with, and then he boisterous, he aggressive, he, you know what I'm saying, he gonna be in everything, you know, because he want them drugs. Bo was getting high, he want them drugs, he play basketball, he play poker, he gonna voice his opinion about any and everything. He ain't got no cut card whatsoever. You know, he just an aggressive bulldog. I used to call him Bulldog when we got cool. That was my nickname. I called him the Bulldog because that's what he do. He just gonna bulldog his way into whatever he want and however he want. Now you gotta think, when he got there, I'm thinking it's like around 91 or 92, maybe 92. So you talking about he's what, 66, 67 now? So you talking about 92, you talking about 30 years. So you gotta take 30 years off of Bo. So you talking about a 37-year-old Bo. You know, you talking about a 37-year-old Bo. Bo was a problem. He was a problem, and the compound knew he was a problem. And he came straight on there, hit the gate running. You know, he out here playing poker, he playing basketball, elbowing dudes, kicking dudes, calling dudes all outside their name. And Bo exposed a lot of dudes too. He exposed a lot of dudes, and he definitely exposed a lot of dudes in my eyesight because, like I say, everybody on Mecklenburg had a reputation. So when Bo got there, though, you see some of the dudes that even had reputations, man, they were scared of Bo. They cowered to Bo because Bo knew him from another institution, knew him from a previous place or the wall or somewhere else. And Bo like, man, you ain't like that. You ain't like, you got to eat people food. You ain't like that, man. You a bee. You this, man. You and he talked to them like that, and they be scared. They be scared. The same dudes that was imposing their will on other people, they were scared to deal with Bo because they knew what the consequences was. It's life or death. It's life or death. So he changed the whole everything, man. And like I say, he got in incidents that he got away with, that he didn't actually get locked up for. You know, I told y'all the situation when he eventually got locked up is because he robbed the poker game, and that was going to be a huge incident, and they got him up off the compound. But prior to that, man, Bo had been in some scrapes and everything. I told you, I don't know if I told y'all that before, but he got arguing with the dude about that phone one day, man, and the next day we out on the yard, and Bo was like, who had that phone, man, there running their mouth? And the dude was, like I say, this dude had a little rep too. Man, Bo grabbed him by his neck and just was choking him, man. He was strong. He had this dude up off his feet, choking him on the gate, and dude had to pull him up off him. He started foaming too. He was like getting ready to go out, you know. And I had seen this same dude hit another dude with a razor blade before. So he was far from being a sucker, but he was dealing with somebody, like I say, most of the time your reputation is hard to get over. This is what made Tyson so feared. People got in the ring, they was already scared before they even threw a punch, and they in the boxing game, but the aura of him, you know, was feared more than the actual, you know, him. So they was already mentally defeated. And that's how it was when it came to Bo. Dudes was already mentally defeated when it came to Bo because his reputation preceded him. He had put in much work, man. Much work before the Mecklenburg days. And dudes knew it, and they didn't want to deal with him. And he took cold advantage of it. At any opportunity, he took cold advantage of who he was and what he was capable of doing, man. So yeah, he changed the aura of the compound, man. But for the most part, like I say, I try to stay in my lane, in my zone, with the dudes that I dealt with the dudes that I rock with. You know, like I said, I didn't have too many scrapes myself on Mecklenburg as far as physicality, getting into physical altercations. Words with a couple of people that got squashed. Physical altercations, maybe one or two, but they was like basically, you know, fisticuff, you know, which was all right with me because I always felt like I was going to prevail. But I remember this one cat in the block, he got to arguing with me because of the iron. The iron. He arguing with me about the iron. I had the iron too long, blah, blah, blah. So I'm telling him, man, look, you got the iron. Go ahead on, mind your business. Don't keep running your mouth. He started popping off. He had a little size on him. So I'm in the cell. He started running his mouth, you know, just talking. I done went in the cell. He's still running his mouth. So the next thing you know, he done came out in the pod. He talking all loud. So I came outside my cell. I'm like, man, why you still running your mouth? So he got the iron in his hand. So he said, because I can run my mouth. You know, because I can. And he took the iron cord and started wrapping around his hand like he was going to, you know what I'm saying, attack me with the iron. So, man, I'm looking at this cat and I'm like, man, and I really ain't trying to get locked up. I really ain't trying to go down. But at the same time, when it comes to self-preservation, man, that's it. When it got to go, it got to go. You can't control when something going to go down. You can only control what go down, but you can't control when something going to go down. And the louder he getting, the more disrespectful he getting. So that's making me look a certain type of way if I don't address the issue. So I had the Bethlehem. I didn't want to really put it on him because I knew what the outcome was going to be because he got something in his hand. So I'm going to have no mercy on him to make sure I don't get hurt. So, but he running his mouth and I can feel that he really ain't about that like he's talking because he's talking but he ain't approaching me. So I go back in the cell and I get that thing and I put it on me and I come back about that, but I got it tucked, decent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm walking up to him and he telling me, man, don't walk up on me. Don't walk up on me. I'm saying, well, what you gonna do? You know, what you gonna do? So he said, man, I do whatever. I do whatever. So I said, yeah, all right, man, you ain't gonna do nothing. You faking. So at that moment, I could see in his eyes he was faking. So I knew I ain't really need to put the thing on him. So I went back in the cell. But when I went in the cell this time, I grabbed a Pepsi, or a canned soda of Pepsi. I put that joint in my back pocket, and I come back out there, and I said, you still out here talking, man? You still out here talking? He said, man, I told you don't pull up on me. So I'm walking up close to him, and when I get about 2-3 feet away from him, I put my hand in the back, and I pull that soda can out, man, and I beam that joint straight at his face. And that joint caught him right, oh, Lord, caught him right on the side of the forehead. Bam! And when it caught him on the side of the forehead, he stumbled back, and I just charged him, grabbed him, took him down to the ground, and started grounding and pounding him. Bang, 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 bang. And I was beating him good and decent. You know, the iron fell. I could have picked the iron up and crushed him, you know, but I wasn't even thinking like that. I was just thinking about keep him down, keep on hitting him till I know he ain't moving so he can't cause me no harm. And then DP, he come grab me, get up off of him, shout, get up off of him. Police ain't even seen it yet. Come on, get up off of him, man. So he pulled me up off of him. Boom, I go on back to the cell. He laying in there in a bloody pool of mess, you know, ain't doing nothing, can't get up. He unconscious. Don't nobody want to really go help him because dude's going to assume you go help him, you with him. So he just lay there for a minute. He eventually get himself together, about 5-6 minutes. He get up. He's setting up on himself, just bleed, rubbing his face and everything. I come out in the pod. I'm just looking at him. He don't say nothing to me. I don't say nothing to him. Eventually, the CO end up noticing him. She called the people. They lock us all down. They come in and get him, take him out. I will give him that props right there. He was a soldier. He ain't tell on me. They came in there. They questioned everybody. Had us locked down for the rest of the night. But the next morning, we came on out. And that's what they do in the penitentiary. They come right in this cell, get all this stuff, pack all this stuff, take all this stuff out. But by the end of that evening, somebody else occupy the cell. That's all they gonna do. Rotate you out. They don't care nothing about you. He don't want to tell what happened to him. They gonna question him enough. They can't figure out who did it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Little scrapes like that I had, you know, that I'm glad they turned out in my favor. I'm glad they turned out where I didn't end up getting a case or I didn't end up getting myself even in worse trouble. But those were just small, to me, small minor incidents compared to what I've seen going on. So I was just glad to get away with it. And I was also glad to let other people know, if they didn't know, that I ain't just gonna use the Bethlehem. I'm gonna rumble. I'm gonna do whatever. If you come at me foul, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back 10 times harder. You know. So like I say, little altercations like that. I put my hands on a couple of dudes, but didn't even last long. One dude, he called me out, just running his mouth. I just hit him one time, bam, dropped him. That was it. He got up and went on about his way. You know what I'm saying? He got up, went on about his way, and checked out the block. And 2 days later, he ain't come out his cell for like a day and a half. And then when he did come out, he got the people to move him. He moved on out of the block. Small things like that, man, you know. But at the same time, when it comes time to step up, you got to step up and you got to be emphatic and let people know where you coming from. And like I say, dudes is always watching you like I'm always watching other dudes. So I learn dudes' characters. I learn what they're about, what they coming with, if I'm ever in an altercation with them. Because that's how you got to look at everybody in prison. What you gonna do if you possibly in an altercation with this dude? What you gonna do if you possibly in an altercation with that dude? You gotta look at everybody like that, because that's always a possibility. Because friends today will be your enemies tomorrow. Dudes that cool with you today will be talking about you tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at the situation for what it is, man, and just try to survive in there and just try to stay harm-free where you don't get harmed. And that's a hard thing to do, man, because it be coming from everywhere. Everywhere with, you know, just attitudes and just, man, dude just might bust out and just say something to you. He might not even like you ever since the first time he saw you, and just always kept it to himself, except for he might wake up this morning and he feel like, man, I don't like him, and I'm going to tell him I don't like him, and whatever he want to do about it, and then we going to do it. And it goes down like that. I've seen it, I've been around it, and I learned to understand it, man. So that's why I say I always carry myself with the attitude that if you coming at me, you know, and I know it sounds crazy, but I carry it like, if you coming at me, you better come to kill me. You better come to kill me. You better not leave me breathing, because if you leave me breathing, I'm most definitely gonna come back. And when I come back, that's how I'm gonna try to leave you. So I let that be known, and I think people understood that. But at the same time, you had a whole lot of other cats on there with the same type of mentality. The exact same type of mentality. It's like somebody asked me the other day in one of the comments, they was like, well, it seems like people that I watch on YouTube, when they talk about prison, they always talk about winning. They don't never talk about losing. Tell some stories about when you take some losses, you know. And my response to that is, you take losses when you go to prison. That's a loss right there. You done lost your freedom. You done lost your livelihood. You done lost everything. That's the loss. And that's the only loss that I was willing to take. I was not going to get into prison and have nobody beat me. I was not going to get into prison and have nobody violate me. I was not going to get into prison and have nobody take advantage of me, rob me, do none of that. That's, to me, I don't know how it was for somebody else. I can only speak for me. That would be a loss to me. I won't let nobody do none of those things to me and be able to stay around me. Nobody. So to say, did you take any losses? Yeah, I took losses. Like I told y'all before in the other video, dudes stole my stuff, but I didn't know who it was. That's a loss. I've been in altercations that I prevailed physically, but I lost. I had to do that time in the hole. I had to, you know, be back there going through all the mental things that I was going through, trying to keep my peace of mind, trying to keep my sanity, being locked up in a cell. That's a loss with nothing in there but a toilet and a bed for months and years. That's a loss. You lose a piece of yourself. So physical losses, no, I won't accept none of them, because I know that I can always avenge them. The mental losses, the loss of time, those things you can't get back. So everybody take a loss when you're in prison. Everybody take a loss. It may not be a physical loss, and like I said, but it's going to be a loss. You lose in prison, period. It's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose situation. If you get in a physical altercation and you take somebody's life to save your own, you still lost, because you took a life, and your life is going to be taken too, because that's something that you're never going to get over. Those going to be mental demons that's going to be in your head. Those going to be things that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life, besides what the prison going to do to you, besides what the courtroom might going to do to you. So you always take losses. It ain't nobody in prison who ain't take losses. It may not be the loss, the kind that you're talking about, but it's most definitely a loss, you know. And I took many of them, you know. And for 33 years, it was a loss for me until I could get my, you know, my liberty back, my freedom back. But like I say, Prison is just a different animal, man. Mecklenburg was vicious. I know I haven't told a lot of, isolated a lot of stories in here because, like I say, I've told stories about Mecklenburg before. So now when I'm on this tour with y'all, going from prison to prison, I'm trying to duck over the things that I've already told y'all, the things that I've already enlightened y'all about. But like I said, there was a lot went on in Mecklenburg. There was a lot that I seen. The Tink incident went on Mecklenburg where he almost killed the dude, Jesse. That was Mecklenburg. Bo robbing the poker game was Mecklenburg. Hercules, his whole situation was Mecklenburg. Marty, my homeboy DC Marty, that was Mecklenburg. You see what I'm saying? Gangster Slim was Mecklenburg. Mark Peace was Mecklenburg. So all of these stories I'm trying to skip over to give y'all some other idea of the things that was going on Mecklenburg during the time that I was there. So it's a lot that went on Mecklenburg. Mecklenburg was a vicious, dangerous place. Block incident was on Mecklenburg. With the police and being in the hole and setting the cells on fire where they had to send him out of state. All of these things, these stories that I've told y'all already, all of this happened on Mecklenburg in that little bit of time that I was there, which was only just a couple of years. All of that, this is what goes on in prison. This is the enormity of the situation that you're in. All of those stories that I just mentioned right now, all of that was compacted into Mecklenburg, the little couple of years that I was there that I told y'all about. That gives you an idea of what goes on in prison, how it goes down, and what it is. And like I say, there's more stories that I can tell about Mecklenburg, but at this moment, out of the top of my mind, I'm giving y'all these ones, and I may revisit Mecklenburg and give y'all some more ones. A lot of people wanted to know about the Bradley brothers, about Mecklenburg. I wasn't there when the Bradley brothers was there. I only was there after their situation was over. I got locked up in 87. The Bradley brothers incident happened on Mecklenburg in 84. So I wasn't even there. But their reputation and their history remained on there. A lot of people talked about it, but that's speculation, so I don't want to talk about it because I wasn't there, and it's only hearsay for me. The things that I talk to y'all about is things that I experienced, things that I went through, things that I was there to witness. So that's why I speak about those things that I know about. I'm not going to speak about things that I'm not really aware of or don't really have full knowledge of. So, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that Mecklenburg was a learning experience. Even the short time that I was there, it was an experience that I never forget. I went through a lot. I seen a lot. I was in a few situations on there myself. As I told y'all, they end up tricking me up over there. I end up leaving there myself and going to Greensville, which turned out to be, up until this point right now too, I haven't even been on one institution for more than 3 years. Not one. At this point in my bid, I had not been on one institution for more than 3 years. Now when I end up going to Greensville turned out to be not only the longest place that I stayed at one time, and that was for the entirety of my whole 33 years. And it not only turned out to be that, it also turned out to be the prison that I went to the most. I ended up on Greensville 3 times. The last time was the charm, was when I was in re-entry, when I eventually came home. But Greensville is the next stop. And I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. I appreciate y'all, listening to these stories and taking this ride with me on this trip. Please tell a friend to tell a friend about these stories, man, so they can let these young people hear this, so they can get an idea of what's really going on in prison, how it really goes on day to day. What you will be facing and what you will have to go through if you submit your freedom out here on these streets. I don't care what you're going through out here. I guarantee you will fare better out here than you will in there. So spread these stories around, share these stories, and maybe it'll help somebody, man. Like I say, it's a blessing in every lesson, man. And the blessing is that I was able to come through those things that I came through. I was able to learn from them. I was able to move forward from them. I was able to keep my sanity, my physical being intact. And God was just with me, man. And that's the only thing that I can attribute it to. It wasn't all me. it was God walking with me, man. So I'm blessed, man, and I acknowledge that each and every day. But I thank y'all for rocking with me, man. We got more stories to come. I'm going to backtrack and do some stories on a couple of these people while they in my mind. So we going to be keep it moving, man. 2022, I'm going to try to put out as much content as I possibly can, man, to enlighten y'all on these situations. Hopefully, like I say, we're going to keep spreading this positive energy, pure deliciousness over there on Banky Pound. We cooking and eating over there. Come over there and see how we was cooking and eating. Especially go check out that video I did when we had to cook on the iron. You know, I think that would be unique for some people to see. May not ever seen that, but that's what we had to do when we had to do it. But in the meantime, in between time, man, I love y'all out there, man. Be safe, be smart, make good decisions. TBP, stand up, salute. I appreciate you all out there. Much love, prosperity, and stay safe in 2022. And watch them punch. Damn!
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.